Good morning, and welcome to Eric's Daily Vlog, Super Bowl ad review edition. It'll be a rather casual review. I only saw the spots one time each. Wanted to keep this very natural, like as close to the average consumer as I can get. You know, I'm a consumer. It's not too hard. I'm trying to look into these a little bit more from an advertising standpoint. The game wasn't anything really super exciting. I mean, it was defensive battle for most of the game. Some people might have been a little bored by that, but the ads, a few of the ads were pretty good, and wasn't a crazy wild ad year. But like I was saying in my last episode, I don't think advertisers should always go that route of trying to create an ad that just gets attention or gets to the top 10 list. I did see, I think it was USA Today already released their top 10. I didn't get a chance to look at it yet. I actually didn't want to until I'm not making like a top 10 or anything, but I've got a few here that I particularly liked for one reason or another. We'll talk about those a little bit. The first one I wanted to mention, which is this first spot that I noted mentally and put in my notepad on my phone. I don't know if everyone would have got this or appreciated it like I did, but as an advertising guy, there was a spot that started with Morning in America. Now that was actually, I recognized it right away, Morning in America, but then it actually switched into a Handmaid's Tale ad from Hulu and Handmaid's Tale. Now the Morning in America spot was an old political ad for Ronald Reagan, I believe. I think it was in '85. And I was born in '85, so I didn't see these ads aired, in real time or anything. But that was in an advertising documentary that was produced by, or it was conceived, I guess, by an ad legend, Hal Riney, who is now passed away. But there's a video I just shared to my Twitter and my Facebook of his process of creating that ad series for Reagan, the Reagan campaign. And Morning in America spots, what they were. So that's how that spot started. You'll have to see the spot. Morning in America. It's a Handmaid's Tale spot, Hulu spot, ad. Which is the first one I wrote down. I really like that, in part because Hal Riney is a legend, and his work and it might have even been his original voice in the ad. I'd have to listen to the ad again. Again, I just saw them one time, and I'm just talking about what stuck with me. But Hal Riney voiced the original spot in '85, and Handmaid's Tale sort of brought that back in a dystopian kind of weird, well, no, not dystopian, but in a weird, but if you've seen the show, Handmaid's Tale, it's a very, culturally, just out there show. I got my notes here. The second spot that I really liked was Steve Carell and a few celebrities in this one. I can't remember exactly, but it was a Pepsi spot. Is Pepsi okay? They're at a diner, and it starts out where Steve's is Pepsi okay, and they can launch into this big thing. What I think makes that ad work is we've all been there when whenever we order, whether we order Pepsi or Coke, the immediate response from the waiter or waitress is so and so okay. So that was a fun little riff on that exchange that we have at restaurants. What makes that really work for Pepsi? It was really funny, and I think they're dancing and just launching into a big scene in that ad. It's totally, like I was saying last week, Pepsi is a very style purchase. It's not something we really have to think about, so it's easy to have silly, funny, cool, fashion stuff as ads that work. We see that and we think it's really funny, and we might want to go grab a Pepsi. It's that easy. Whereas if they did the same thing with a car, I wouldn't go out today and be like, I'm going to go buy a new car. think I'm gonna go with that funny ad that I saw. Even if I was in the market for a car and I saw an ad last night and it was funny, I don't think that would sway me one way or another, me personally, about buying that car. I think we want to be built with trust and assurance that that's the right vehicle. The next ad that I wanted to mention, Stella Artois. They brought back the dude, right? Brought back the dude, and Carrie Fisher from Sex and the City. That was a cool spot. Now I was a little disappointed in that only because Jeff Bridges, if you're following him on Twitter, he teased this spot like last week, but he didn't say it was for a Super Bowl spot. I think he shared a short clip where he's in his dude get up and sort of hinted that something was coming back. So I was kind of excited about some kind of a Big Lebowski something. I didn't think it was going to be anything crazy like a sequel or anything, but the dude was coming back and he came back for a Super Bowl spot. So I was a little let down when I found out last week that it was going to be for the Super Bowl spot, but it was still a good spot. They get a Stella, both of them, and that's their connection. They order a Stella rather than their usual. So I did enjoy that spot. I like anything with the dude. The Bud Light ad, they had a few of them in the Super Bowl, and I like their theme they have going on now with the Knights and everything. My wife commented on that too. She likes that theme. They had one though that I thought was pretty cool. It was a Bud Light where they're in a battle in the Coliseum or something, and then it ends up being a crossover commercial with Game of Thrones, dragons flying in and stuff. That was pretty cool. I like that crossover. I thought Bud Light did a pretty good job with those ads. I'll skip around a little bit here. I thought T-Mobile, and any advertiser yesterday that had ads throughout the Super Bowl, connecting the ads together. T-Mobile did a great job. Still with me? Got a phone call in the middle of this. So, yep, we're still live. They had ads throughout the Super Bowl, T-Mobile, that were text messages, one, between two people, and just various situations. One was with the dad. He was texting what seemed to be his daughter. He was texting and he was asking for best, some kind of recipe. And she said, "Dad, this isn't Google." And he said, "Oh, sorry." And she says, "That's okay." And then he texts back, later. Best. He's still searching for the best whatever recipes. He thinks it's Google. And then she finally just sends him the best recipe. She just Googles it herself and sends it to her. But that was one of them. And then it was talking about switching to T-Mobile and offering them they will pay off your contract and everything. I thought those were pretty well done. It reminded my wife of, it reminded me then of, I think it was last year, wasn't it? Tide? What Tide did, brilliant last year. It's a Tide ad, if you guys remember that, where each ad they had started out in a different scenario and you didn't know what it was. Like a lot of Super Bowl ads, you don't know who the advertiser is. And then at the end, the guy from, the 7 thing, the Netflix special, I forget what it's called, comes in, he says it's a Tide ad. So then every other ad, what was brilliant about that ad last year was then every other ad that you couldn't quite tell what it was at first, you were thinking, is this going to be a Tide ad? That worked really well last year. Anyway, that was last year. Didn't see anything quite like that this year, but T-Mobile had a nice series of ads throughout the Super Bowl. Thought they did a good job there. Other ones, the Walmart pickup spot was pretty good. That wasn't one that they had just released. That's been out there for a while, but I like that. Verizon had a couple spots in there about first responders that were pretty touching. I missed the first one actually. Caught the second one, and those worked, I think. Hey, we got a viewer, can't see who that is. How's it going? Did you like the ads? Did you see the Super Bowl? Feel free to comment. Verizon ads, they were pretty touching, talking about first responders and how Verizon makes sure that those first responders can get that call. So that really works. That makes you, I think it makes you, the viewer, trust in the company, and talks about then the reliability. I mean, the talk's not outright, but just in the sense of the ad, it makes you feel the reliability of the network and of the phone service. So that's a big branding play. That's a big branding play. So we have two wireless carriers going in opposite directions in the Super Bowl. T-Mobile went the direction of like funny, silly, with the text message conversations. They were all really funny. I'm pretty sure they were the ones that also ran where you text someone something short and they send you a story in a text back, and they said something like, "Let's keep this brief." So T-Mobile went that route. Is that Jerry? Hey, Jerry. T-Mobile went that route of funny, silly, make you laugh, and that stuck with me, those ads, and there were a bunch of them too. Verizon, I think they had two of the first responders. They went the branding route, more of a long-term play, reliability, trust. I think both of those worked there because I think wireless service phones, Verizon, T-Mobile, I think that somewhere very much in the middle of style versus substance kind of purchase. So they can go either way with those ads. They don't have to go just with the branding play like Verizon did. That's where they chose to go. It was a very touching ad, and I still have to see the first one with the Chargers head coach. I think was in that. I read. But all in all, a handful of ads I thought worked pretty well. I'd encourage you, and Jerry, if you didn't catch it, my first one that I noted down from last night was Morning in America spot, that morphed into Handmaid's Tale by Hulu. That was from a 1985 Ronald Reagan ad campaign produced by Hal Riney that I just happened to see because it was a great ad that I saw in a documentary, advertising documentary. But I tweeted that link to the original, the California disaster. Was that the, the Verizon stuff? Yeah, I missed the first one. Okay. So I have to catch that still. The Morning in America spot, Handmaid's Tale. I tweeted a link to to Hal Riney describing how he created the 1985 ad. That was the intro to the Handmaid's Tale spot. But all in all, I mean, a handful of ads. I think some of those stuck with me. It'll be fun to see as time goes on here. What continues to stick with me and with us as viewers, and how we maybe react to those. And then I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of these ads again. But there's so much attention at the Super Bowl, so much attention. I mean, we're hushing people, hushing my daughter. Hey, the ads are on. She's trying to skip the ads. She really did. During the commercial, she said, "Why isn't the game on?" And we said it is. These are just the ads. And so she got the remote and went to try to skip it, like she does with the Hulu app or the YouTube app on our Fire, Amazon Fire TV. Which one was good? Game of Thrones. Yeah, the crossover. I mentioned that one. Bud Light, Game of Thrones crossover. I like that one too, Jerry. That was on my list. I had 7 here that I kind of just went through that I just particularly liked. After watching them one time, I didn't review them or anything afterwards. I will do that though. I'll watch them again. Maybe my list will revise. I'll add it in the comments if anything changes from there. But overall, pretty good set of ads. Nothing too crazy. Nobody went too wild, but that's okay. A lot of throwback. I saw this article too. I didn't read it, but the headline of advertisers kind of played it safe, and there were a lot of throwbacks this year. 80s like nostalgia or something. The one with the Reagan ad, I don't know if they were including that in that conversation, but that was from 85. I'm trying to remember what the other throwbacks were, but a lot of there's one other throwback I was going to mention. Maybe I'll add it in the comments, because I have to go drop my car off, get some work done. Well, thanks for joining me here for episode 10. We made it, guys. Thanks for joining me on this episode 10 journey. This isn't the end, though. We're going to keep going. We're going to go to 100. That's the goal. I'm putting it out there, Jerry. Get into 100. That's what I want to do. Hopefully I'll get a little better at this, too. All right, guys. Catch you next time.